Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of According to Sacha Podcast. We're here with you on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with phenomenal guests representing their industries, their niches, anything that they're doing in business, whether they're authors, speakers, or creatives, or entrepreneurs, small business owners, whatever it is, they have a place here. So I thank you for always tuning in. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Tonight has been kind of crazy. Oh my gosh. I don't know if anybody else have had some technical glitches, difficulties like across the board, wherever, but you know what? We do prevail anyway. I think recently, last week, right? So, yeah, y'all going to hear the little geeky scientific part of me or whatever right now. So, like, somewhat last week over the weekend, they had like the geomagnetic storms. So, I'm just going to say that it is those northern lights that was showing up in areas that usually don't show up, and the magnetic storm, however bad it was or whatever, it just caused everything to be haywire because, yeah, we're not on every platform tonight, but you know what? It's all good. So I want to say, hey, what's up, everybody on LinkedIn, YouTube, if you're watching me on X or Twitter, and on Instagram. What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. So tonight, I do have my special guest, Nicole Outlaw, who is the founder of Bertie County Business Network in North Carolina. Says Windsor, North Carolina. She's representing, and she's going to talk about herself, what she do for her business, what she's doing for the local businesses in the North Carolina area, and an amazing event that's coming up soon as well. But first, before we bring on, remember what you have to do, you guys: like, follow, and share. Like, follow, and share on every platform that we have. Whether you're watching on, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, or even Facebook. Right now, I have Facebook glitches going on, so you're not going to see me here right now. So anyway, um, but if you also like listening on later on, you're listening on the audio versions, whether it's on Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, wherever you're listening to, make sure you like, follow, and share. Do some downloads, do some everything, because what you do for us on this platform, you do for everyone else who shows up on this platform. And we want to make sure that they are being known to the world, because that's what we're here for. We're here to help other people grow and their business to grow and things that they're doing. So thank you so much for all of that. So before I bring up Nicole, I will play one amazing message, and I'll be back with Nicole, you guys. See you soon. Entrepreneurship, small business, is something that everybody would love to do, making their own money. And this is what we will be talking about on According to Sacha. Hey, Nicole, how are you?
Hey, Sasha, how are you?
I am doing good. Despite everything that's going on, I am doing great.
You made it.
Yeah,
We're here.
we made it. So thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for your patience as well as we went through some of our technical difficulties. And, let's just go ahead and get all into this conversation because I want the world to know who you are. So tell everyone, who is Nicole Outlaw?
Absolutely. Well, so thank you so much for having me. So, Nicole, I am many things. I'm a believer in Christ. I'm a follower, first and foremost. I'm a mom as well. I'm finding in my career path lately, I am a community developer, a small business advocate, and just a change maker. I feel that I'm in this groove where I want to challenge everything and take no prisoners, because it's a time where our voices matter and our seats at the table can be created. So I want to be a part of that movement.
Wow, that's awesome. And I know that in your area, in the capacity of what you're doing, you're such a change maker. in that, and you're just a force to be reckoned with. I see everything that you do, and I'm just like, okay, I'm over here. I root for you and all that good stuff.
Thank
So,
you.
so how did you get involved in this whole business world? What was your start?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question. So, as a sidebar, like when I was growing up, I thought I was going to be a second grade teacher. I did not expect to be doing what I'm doing in the economic development space. But I'll tell you the short story is I moved back to Bertie County, which is rural county from Austin. And I loved Austin. I did not want to come back home because I knew what I was leaving and I knew what I was coming back to. But in between jobs trying to get settled back here, I started baking and just, baking cookies, and people just really fell in love with them. And I used to bake for my kids' school teachers when it was Teacher Appreciation Week, like a couple of weeks ago, because I didn't have the money. So I would bake. And then people started to ask, hey, do you sell these? And I was like, no, but maybe I should. So that was my first, question about the entrepreneurship world. And what happened was a crazy situation where I was just in the right place at the right time. But our local economic developer said, hey, we have this meeting and this group called NC Growth is going to be here. And at the time I was working on starting a coffee shop here in Bertie in Windsor. And so I met Mark Little, who's the executive director of the team. And they said, hey, we can work on a project with you and your business, while we're working here. They said, we don't normally work with retail businesses, but we're really interested in the work you're doing and we really love your energy. And that was back in, that was 2014. I decided I was going to follow them, their newsletter. I instantly was on everything that NC Growth was doing and following them. And they had a position come up. And I applied 4 years later, and it just really introduced me to the world of rural business, number one, but economic development. I started working as a program manager with small businesses, and it was based on my personal experience as a business owner, but it was also just my passion for helping people and being a voice and a connector. And so once I got out of my head about not having gone to school for, entrepreneurship, I had an associate's degree in business administration, and I was like, imposter syndrome kept peeking out. But after I got over that, and things started to move in a way that was so positive towards, just what I was doing, I just never looked back. So that's kind of what got me into the space.
Wow. Who would have imagined you didn't want to come back home,
Right.
but it was so much waiting for you
Right.
right here in Windsor, and for you to be able to impact so many other business owners and what you're doing. And like you said, you're that connector. And when people really like tune in and find out like they're greater than what they believe they are, like you said, the imposter syndrome kind of set in a little bit. And it's like, hold on, I only have this. Why am I be in this position? But sometimes it's all it takes is your know-how, your energy, your mindset, just you being in the right place at the right time for so many other people and the lives that you impacted. So within the time frame that you've been in NC Growth, how long have you been there altogether?
So I started with NC Growth in 2018. I've been there for 5.5 years, starting as a program manager. And now I'm working in a different role, but I'm the assistant director of engagement. And NC Growth is actually a national economic development center based at the Keenan Institute. So we're on the campus of the business school. Our staff, however, half of our staff is, across the state, and we do have an associate director in South Carolina. So most of us, half of us at this point are remote. And so I do work in the rural county that I live in, and I'm boots on the ground in the field for our work.
That's awesome for it to be a national,
Yes.
a national movement,
Yes.
and you being set right there in the middle of it
That's
for the
right.
rural area. So how is it now? You are from Windsor.
Yes.
And you moved to Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And you came back to Austin. Now you're helping rural businesses or businesses in a rural area. How different is that whole scope and measure of things between rural business and what you saw and experienced in Austin?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. But the buffer between Austin and Windsor was I actually moved to Virginia first. So I was in your neck of the woods in the Virginia area for 10 years. And then I moved to Austin. And so just being in both those places, there was definitely an adjustment coming back. There was that culture shock because what I saw all around me was new businesses, new movements, new buildings coming up every day. And so moving back to Windsor, where not much had changed, we got a bypass where we had mostly back roads and side roads before. And so I had come to visit several times, of course, throughout the time that I was gone. But, what I was seeing there was just the access to information and opportunity. One of the things being in a rural area where there are disparities, like for an example, food disparities, like we have one grocery store in 741 square miles of Bertie County, just one. And where I was in Austin, there was access to things everywhere. So that similar, situation is the case for small business support or, support organizations. There are very few and far between. And if we do have access, there's usually a 45-minute to an hour drive to get to one. Luckily now we do have someone who's working as like a counselor at a satellite location once a week. So that's better than nothing, but that's where I saw that there was an opportunity to really like see where we could move things to have more small business support. And that's kind of the birth of the Bertie Business Network, because what I recognized was during my time trying to open a coffee shop, in the very beginning when I moved back, there were some, gaps. I was like, who do I need to speak to? Where do I need to go? How do I do this? And I found that I was piecemealing the information and not knowing where to start and really feeling like I was new to the state. I'm having to learn things because when I was here prior to that, I was a teenager. So I was just like, I didn't have to do these things or go to these places. So how do I, figure out what I need to have for my business? So connecting with the economic developer and connecting with the Chamber of Commerce, that social networking, I recognize as a very powerful tool. And that's actually one of the methods that the network operates through, social networking. That's how I met you. So I think, putting a group of like-minded people together and giving them the access to resources and information, but then supporting them through one-on-one coaching really makes a difference, because some organizations will say, here's this template, go fill it out and we'll meet back. And most of the times, they're lost in translation. So I think what I've seen is just what's happening in other places happens differently here for us. And we, instead of saying we don't have it, we have to create something that works. And so that's what, essentially I have learned and have tried to do with the network over the past couple of years.
Wow, that's amazing. So how many businesses do you have within the network now?
Currently, we have, I believe it's about 39 businesses that are joined. So we have our annual campaign, our membership campaign every February. So we are starting to increase in numbers. Previously, last year, we had upwards of 50 members. So it's climbing. And so the membership piece, because people always ask this, like, why is there a membership? And I'm like, well, it's an investment, number one. The chamber has a membership, but it's an investment for us because we're a nonprofit and we don't, we're not pocketing the money, we're not paying staff. So the membership is just a way to say, here's your investment. And we use those to cover small administrative fees, like keeping our email accounts and things of that nature and paying for our website. So definitely helps to have more members, but we're getting there. I just supplement as I need to in between personally.
That's awesome. So if you're in the North Carolina area in Windsor, or now, do you do all of North Carolina or just the Bertie area for the network?
That's a great question, Sasha. I'm glad you asked that. So originally, I started the network for Bertie County citizens because I thought we don't have anything, so it's going to be just for us. But
Mhm.
what I noticed was people around us were like, is it just for Bertie County? And I was like, you know what? No, because if you want to be a part of this, organization, and you are going to put the work in and do what you need to do to build your business, I don't want that to be a barrier. So we actually, had a mostly regional members.
Mhm.
However, last year and even now we have members. We had a member in Virginia. We had someone who was in Florida and someone in California actually to join us. And that really shows the value of what we do. It's not about, the number per se. It's just about
Mhm.
the content and the opportunity and the access to resources that we provide for our members that people see the value of. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And you bring forth like diversity as well.
Yes.
Of businesses, the
Yes.
difference of businesses in the regions or the states and the localities when they all can come together under your network. And
That's right.
and then it's the power in that, because when you go to network with each other, how can you learn from each other when you have those spaces, and having people in different capacities from different areas is
That's right.
always good, and invest in each other. So that's amazing. So you with NC Growth and you're with Bertie Business Network. So how do you even balance your work life, experience?
You know, that is, if I would have to be honest, that is an area that I need to continually improve on, balance.
Uh-huh.
Um, but so the great thing about the two, working full time for one network and kind of starting another, is NC Growth and the team is so supportive of what's happening here with the network, and they see value in it. They're proud of it because it's a reflection of our work that we do at NC Growth. So the beautiful thing about this is I have the opportunity to spend a lot of one-on-one time with potential clients of NC Growth. So with NC Growth, for our small businesses, we don't charge them for our services. We essentially do our deliverables for them for free. We pay graduate students to do the work. And so with the grants that we receive, because we're about 70% grant funded, we're
Mhm.
able to use those funds to work in rural and economically distressed communities. So the primary work that I'm doing when I'm going across the state in these rural communities is really determining what the needs are to determine the best way that we can work with them. Sometimes people naturally find out that I'm leading this network and they're like, tell me more. And so it's happened that we've had members join and then they're like, I wonder if I could do a project with NC Growth. And then so it becomes this ecosystem of
Mhm.
support. And that's what I really enjoy, because it really allows me to truly know deep down what the needs are of our clients, what they need to work on, what
Mhm.
connections they need. I just really, really see this model with the network being something that can be duplicated. And
Mhm.
NC Growth is actually in support of making that happen. One of our NC Growth associate directors, our associate director of business programs, is actually on our advisory council.
Okay.
So it really just provides this really rich ecosystem of knowledge and expertise and experience. And so that's really been a great balance between those two. Now the me stepping away and taking care of myself is a whole different story. I have been so just engulfed and immersed in this. It's so
Mhm.
amazing. But it is very rewarding, because I do see the growth of my clients with NC Growth. And I do see the growth of the people that are in the network, the members that are in the network. Um, and they give me that feedback. They give me that feedback. And I think that's what keeps me encouraged,
Yeah.
because it can be a lot, especially around the time like this when we're about to have our annual convening, the summit next week. It's
Yeah.
it's been a lot happening, but I at the end of the day, I wouldn't change anything. I'm so proud of it, and I just feel like it's hard work, so you got to be passionate about it. And I just believe that that's where God led me back here to do. So I believe I'm walking in my purpose, and I'm going to stand with that right now.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love that powerful statement. I'm going to stand with that right now. You
Yes.
know, when you're really in your purpose and, and how your purpose supports your heart's desire. Your heart's desire is to help people. And, and then you have the knowledge and the experience with business and you're pulling that together and you're pouring into so many other people and watching them grow. I am one of those people. I love helping people. I love seeing people just grow and just get to their next level. So I definitely know exactly how you feel about, being in that purpose and seeing people grow in that. And you mentioned about the summit coming up. So let's talk about
Yes.
Elevate. Yes.
Yes. Let's talk about it.
Yes. So Elevate is next Tuesday, the
Mhm.
21st. And it starts it's like from 9 to 6:30 and
Yes.
8.
Yeah. It'll be basically 9, right? Registration is 8 to 8:45, but yeah, it'll start at 9. Yes, that's
Okay,
right.
awesome, awesome. And it's in the wonderful Windsor area, Bertie County. And, yours truly.
Yes.
Yay.
So excited.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
been talking about you all week. All week. I've been telling everybody. I'm like, you have to be there. Like, you got your
Oh,
ticket. Now show up.
thank you so much. Yes, you guys, I will be the moderator of the amazing panel, and you have some amazing guest speakers who's going to be in the panel presenters who's going to be there. Let's talk about some of the presenters
Yes,
on the panel.
absolutely. Yeah. So for the panel specifically, the one that you're moderating, Lindsay Peel, she works for Kiva. She's the U.S. Entrepreneurial Ecosystem Manager. She's based in Baltimore, and she's actually from Bertie, so she'll be making the journey home. And I'm just so happy for that because she's like, I want to give back, I want to come down, and I just love that so much. She also is the Chief Wealth Officer for Kingdom Vision Consulting. She's a finance coach, so she can help folks to get their books right, personal or business. So I'm excited to have her be a part. Also, Troy Fitzhugh Jr., he is the leader in charge of Entree Community. So the really cool thing about Entree Community is they work on a larger scale for like event planning for businesses, but also for communities. So one example of that is they planned the local parade for a local town and they did the whole show. So they basically, ran everything, but they also do other work like graphic design, website design, you name it, everything digital, they're doing it. So he's going to come and talk about things from his perspective, but we also have two of our very own on the panel with you. Now, Sacha, this is why this is so important to me because I have two of the Bertie Business Network members. Jamise Watson, she is the owner of T&J Keys to Care. She has a 4-star in-home child care center. And I am just so proud of Jamise. She's also our secretary. She has worked so hard to get her business up and going, and she's going to be she's one of our members that have really shown such tremendous growth just as a business owner. And I think when she jumped to be on the panel, I was like, wow, I'm so excited for her. And so I'm so excited for that. Also, Sheila Forrest, she's been basically in a leadership position for 24 years and decided that she was going to start her own transportation company. Wow. So yes, she talked about how she just decided, you know what, I'm going to just do my own thing. And she stepped out on faith. And so I'm just really excited about the panel. And I wanted to start with the panel at the top of the day because I think hearing from the entrepreneurs will set the tone for the day. And it'll give the speakers in the room and the resource providers in the room an opportunity to hear directly from small businesses owners about like what they need, like what their struggles are. And I really think you moderating it will just be the icing on the cake because you know what questions to ask and how to, you know how to work the conversation. Expertise. So I'm just so excited about the panel. 100%. It's going to be
awesome. I love it. And you have a host of workshops. I also have a workshop, you guys. We're
The
going to be
other
talking
session.
about, yes,
Look,
mental health
I'm going to
and
switch it on
entrepreneurship.
you. Tell us about that a little bit. Tell us what we should expect.
Oh my gosh. So, I am such a advocate for mental health and entrepreneurship, having that balance and finding your wellness within it, taking care of yourself as entrepreneurs. So, what I will be talking about is the keys to managing mental wellness. It is based on my book, The Ugly Truth About Entrepreneurship, the workshop that I've developed from that. And we're just going to talk about how, you could put some things into practice, some things into play, and how to really, not just own your business and make sure that it's successful and it's being sustainable, but also owning yourself and your time and your wellness, because you have to be sustainable as well to operate that business, because we're faced with challenges all the time. And sometimes we could be so inundated with the glory of what we love to do, and that's helping other people, building a business and everything that we do. But sometimes we put ourselves on the back burner. So one of the things that I have learned is not to put yourself on the back burner. There was a time in my life where I had went through like a downward spiral mentally because of the pandemic. And there were keys that I learned about myself. And when I came out of it and when I relaunched the business, I was like, you know what, I'm going to hold on to this because I felt light. I was one of those people that, you know, didn't realize I was burnt out because I was numb to it because I was doing so much all the time, always making sure I was there for other people and so forth. So I pulled all those things, knowing your capacity is one. I love that one. Just knowing your capacity
Ooh, I'm
is
so excited for this. I need
oh
this.
my gosh, and being able to just honor yourself just as much as you're honoring other people and what they do. So I don't want to get all into it because this
I
interview is
know. Listen, I will make sure I am front and center for that because I know I will be walking around, but that is one that I'm going to be right there for.
yes.
When you showed me the list, I was like, "Ooh, let's go with that one," because I really know I need it.
Oh my gosh, so many of us do. And even I still have to stay true to it, because we could get so tied into everything. But you know what? I'm dedicated to making sure I take my vacations and I shut it down. Like, hey, I'm not stressing over stuff, just like how we had technical difficulties. And I was like, you know what? I can work around it. We're gonna do what we need to do and keep it moving. But I'm excited about next Wednesday. I mean, next Tuesday. I don't know why I keep thinking of this. I'm excited about next Tuesday, May 21st. Do you have any more slots available? Is it already sold out?
That's a great question. So tickets aren't available online anymore because we've closed down Eventbrite. However, we do have 7 slots left. And I had someone say, "Oh, I'm gonna get 2," but they didn't get their 2 yet. So we have 7 slots left. And if anyone would like a slot, they can just contact us at info@bbnnc.org, and we will set them up so that they can pay for their tickets. I mean, we would like to say come at the door, but that's not a guarantee that those will be available. So we wouldn't want you to do that.
So what is that? Is that an email address you just gave?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it up. Okay, what is it again?
Info
at
bbnnc.org.
BBNNC. NC.org. Okay, 2 N's. All right. Yes, I'm gonna make sure. So info@bbnnc.org. All right, you guys, make sure that you email Nicole. 7 tickets, you guys. When you see this and you are in the Windsor area, North Carolina area, if you just want to come on down, drive down for the day, if you're in the local Virginia area, wherever you are, if you just want to say, you know what, I want a 3-day weekend somewhere and I want to close it out on Tuesday with the event. So just do it. You can write off anyway.
Yeah. I will tell you, I travel up to 64 all the time. It's an hour 30 to Norfolk. Trust me, I do it all the time. We're not far at all. We're just under an hour 15 from the state line. So if you're coming from, make it happen. Make it happen.
Make it happen. What's that, Route 13?
13 to 64, 17, whatever you need to, however you need to get here.
Just make sure if you're going down 58, you guys, make sure you
Oh boy. I try to avoid. Yeah, right.
They'll get you.
Every
Oh
time.
my
Every
gosh,
time.
yes, yes, yes. I love it. And then after, I can't forget this because you do have a resource fair
Yes.
after the workshops, immediately after. And
Yes.
so who all is going to be in the building with the resource fair?
Yeah, that's a great question. So at 3:30, from 3:30 to 6:30, we will have a representative from the U.S. Small Business Administration. We'll have Carolina Community Impact, their CDFI. They don't just do small business loans; they do personal capital as well.
Mhm.
Also, we will have NC Growth will be there. Our friends from the team will be there to shout some people out and help them along their way.
Mhm.
Um, we will have the Martin Community College Small Business Center, as well as the Roanoke Trawan Community College Small Business Center. We'll have Ajon's professional services. I believe she does a lot of coaching, and one of her newest ventures is helping rural businesses with AI, because sometimes they can be a little shy about AI around here. And so that's one of her new things that she's launched. But yeah, I'm just like over the moon excited for this, because the resource fair is open to the public. So if you can't get a ticket or you're coming in after work, you can still stop through. Those folks are our partners. We really do appreciate the collaboration and the opportunity to partner with them to have representatives at the fair, because a lot of conversations happen in those social settings, and sometimes it breaks down the barriers because they're comfortable and they're not in an office and in the chair and having to answer questions about revenue streams and cash flow. But yeah, so we're super excited, and I mean, I miss some folks about for the resource fair. But yeah, I mean, if you can't make the whole thing, come on over to the resource fair. We'd love to have you.
I love that. I love how you're starting out, like you said, setting the tone with the panel. Because you get people minds start to going and everything, then you're gonna hype it up a little bit with the workshops and people still being imparted into, still have their questions answered and everything. But when you solidify it with that resource fair, so you're creating that step-by-step process, even within this event.
Yeah,
And close out with the resource fair, they can still network, they can still get whether it's funding, or, just, or that support that they need, professional services and so forth,
yeah.
and still being able to, still mingle with
Mhm.
the speakers and the workshop presenters as
Right.
well.
That's
That is such a phenomenal thing.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so excited. We're going to have Dion McGee, who's named the Rural Summit's Entrepreneur of the Year. She's going to be our keynote speaker. We're going to have Evelyn Dell, who's a marketing branding guru from Charlotte. She's going to come and talk about the evolution of branding. We're going to have Elise Polly from our NC Grove team talking about procurement and how to get those certifications for government contracts. We talked about how that's very important. But yeah, I'm just so excited. And also a friend of mine, Jonathan Dickerson, he's also on our advisory council. He's an attorney with JC White Law Group, and he's going to be there to talk about what is the law, like what does the law say you can do, because we want to make sure by the end of the day, and he's the last one on purpose, because he want to say, okay, you heard all that, but here's what you need to know about what the law says.
Wow.
He's actually volunteered to stick around to chat with some folks who might need to set up a consultation. So I'm just so grateful for our group. It's going to be a wonderful collective of industry experts. I'm so excited.
Wow. I'm so excited too. I am so excited to see what's going to happen with so many people and, as they're coming out and being a part of this and how their business is going to ignite. I mean, we're in the second quarter of our year when we think about business. And so they'll be going into their third quarters, for fourth quarters, ready to run into a whole new year next year. And, yeah, just impacted and empowered and inspired and all those things. So I am thrilled to be a part of this. And oh my gosh, I am so thankful to have met you, to be connected with you. And I know this is going to be the first of many,
Many.
yes, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But I just want to, also want to provide you opportunity right now. Like, what are some tips that you have learned along the way, as well as you have seen others, learn along the way, that you could give some business owners right now? What are like your top 5? top 5 tips for business owners starting out.
Wow. I think number one, try it, do that thing. Because so many people get in their head. I talked to a client the other day. She's like, I've been sitting on this business plan for 3 years. And that fear will hold you back every time. So first, just try it, but also strategically network, not just adding people and going to events to be going. Be strategic about it, but also know what you want to get out of it. Like, know, how is this going to help me? And be prepared to answer. So when someone asks, how can I help you? Because sometimes people don't know the answer to that. And I always would say, you don't have to tell everybody everything about your business in one breath. Think about the top 3 things that you might want them to know, because then it can be a conversation and a dialogue. But I think maybe this is my 5th tip, but I would say be social, network, talk to people about what you're interested in, and see where that will lead you. Every connection is not going to always be, an exchange for something, but just be willing to learn from them. Be willing to just not know it all, because that's the other part. Sometimes when we know all those things about our specific craft or our business, we think that we can't accept the coaching because they don't know who we are. They don't know our business. So just be coachable. Be coachable, and that really will set you off, to new heights. And it works for me because I network, I ask questions, I go to places strategically, and I just really am willing to learn, and always, will be a learner. And don't be afraid of saying you don't know. And, because if you say you don't know, then people know how to help you. So
Yeah. Those are amazing tips. Amazing. I know I can say that one of those tips. I mean, I'm always a person that's used to helping other people. And when I started, the first time I was asked that question, how can I help you? I was like, well, I don't know. I was like dumbfounded, knowing that I could always use some help with it, whatever. But it's just like, oh, I don't know. Because I was always used to being that one helping other people. So I
yes.
don't know how to be helped, or how to relay that or convey that information. So that is such a great point right there, because, if you just, if you're watching this interview before you go to the event, before you get one of the 7 tickets, or somewhere else, and someone's asking you, how can I help you, or how can I serve you? Like Nicole said, don't be afraid to just say what it is. So if you're watching this interview, you could say, oh, well, let me stop pondering on those things now. So in case I'm ever asked, I have
That's right.
my top few at the top of my head. So in that way, you're being strategic with what you're stating that your need really is,
Yes.
or or not even a whole need. It could be something so simple. You know, I'll give this one example. When I was doing an event, one of my speakers, she kept asking, how can I serve you? How can I serve you? And I've learned how to, you know, respond by this time. But I felt like, you're one of my speakers. It's not about you serving me, it's how I'm serving you. And so, but on the flip side, there was some glitches going on, because in the event world, everything is not perfectly, you could perfectly plan it,
That's
but
right.
everything don't go perfect with it. And what I had my videographer, who I, had signed up for, whatever, wasn't available. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is high end stuff I need to record for this event.
Yeah.
And so he asked me again. And it was just that feeling like, closed mouths don't get fat, Sasha, you better say something. And she had already mentioned, and in that conversation, she had talked about her husband, who was a film producer. And so, and I said, you know what? And he was coming anyway to record her. So they end up doing my whole show. He ended up becoming a sponsor.
Wow.
Ordered the whole event for me. and him and another partner with no problem. Got the ticket, the plane ticket. The other guy said, no problem, we'll be there. And had I not responded to that, how can I serve you?
Yep.
I would have never gotten a high 4K quality recording and
That's
halfway editing of that event that I had. So people, it's worth it. It's worth it. You
mhm.
know, you always, you know, you sometimes you always feel like, okay, well, what does person really want? You know, it's a trust thing
Yeah.
sometimes. But when you feel good about it or you feel led, it's like, look, let me just let it out. Let it out. Don't
That is-
know how people really help you. It's sometimes you can knock out your own blessings.
That's right.
And
That part.
yeah. So Nicole, you hit it right on the head with that one. So thank you so much for being here. This has been a wonderful
Yes.
conversation. I have
Thank you for
enjoyed
having
it.
me.
I will see you in person on Tuesday.
Yes, I'm so excited. It's like
Ready,
Christmas.
excited. Yes, exactly. I love it. And any final words of wisdom before we go?
Yes, absolutely. Based on just some personal things lately, I will say just don't be afraid to fail. Like, don't be afraid to get it wrong
Mhm.
because there's so many lessons in failure and it doesn't feel right. It doesn't, it makes you uncomfortable. It makes you sad, but like, don't be afraid to get it wrong because it's a guarantee that if you keep trying, you're going to get it right.
I love it. Amazing words. Thank you so much for sharing that. And everyone else, remember there are 7 slots left. You want to get this wisdom firsthand and upfront and
Right.
personal, make sure that you email info@bbnnc.org to get your spot. Remember,
Yes.
7 at this moment it's 7, so you
Yes.
might as well move quickly because it might be 2 by the time you email her. So thank you so much, Nicole, for
Thank
everything,
you
for
so
being here
much.
tonight. Thank you, everyone, for watching, whether you're watching live or you're going to catch the evergreen or you're going to listen to it. Thank you so much for watching. And to remember to be great in everything you do and command your day. And we will see you on the next Thursday. Have a great one. Bye.
Bye.